here you go. This is how you figure out the answers. So first of all, you have to be able to figure out any problem, you have to be able to label the sides. Hypotenuse, opposite, or adjacent. Now, I label those sides. I always start with the one that's opposite the right angle first. And the one that is opposite the right angle is always H for hypotenuse. Okay, now the other two sides will be according to where the angle theta is. Now remember, adjacent means next to. So the side next to that angle theta will be adjacent. Okay, and then last but not least, we have opposite. So opposite the angle theta, okay, not the right angle, but the angle theta will be the opposite side. So you have to always be able to name those three sides. Hopefully you know how to do that already if you've been doing this. All right, now this one says don't use a calculator. It wants you to work out sine theta, cos theta, and tan theta. So all they want you to do here is to work out what the fraction should be. So hopefully you remember so, ka, toa. Okay? You might need to go back and have a look at some of the maths online if you can't remember this. So stands for sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Ka stands for cos equals adjacent over hypotenuse. I'll write them down here. Sine theta equals O over H. Ka stands for cos theta equals A over H. They're those sides that we just did up the top. And toa stands for tan theta equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, so they're the three formulas that you have to remember. So, ka, toa, or SOHCAHTOA, as sometimes it's said. So what you're going to do over here is we'll start with sine. So we're going to put sine theta. Now to work out sine theta, we do the opposite side over the hypotenuse side. So let's look at our diagram. Right, here's our triangle. Here's my angle. First, label the sides. So opposite the right angle is H. Next to the angle theta is adjacent. Remember, adjacent means next to. And opposite the angle theta, last one left, is the O. So all you have to do here is put O over H. So what's the number on O? Hopefully you said 55. What's the number on H? Hopefully you said 73. So all you've got to do here is 55 over 73. So we're just doing the first step of each of these formulas. We're not going any further just yet. Okay? So let's do the same thing now with cos. Cos theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so adjacent is 48, hypotenuse is 73, so I would put 48 over 73. Now right now we're just practicing putting it into the fraction form, okay? And tan theta is the last one. That's O over A. O is 55, A is 48, so I do 55, O on top, 48, A on the bottom. It's always O over A, okay? Not big number, not small number over big number, okay? Just watch out for that. All right, next one. Number 3. Use your calculator to solve these to one decimal place. Oh, looking at the wrong thing. So number 3, we've got to do the same thing, my bad, as we just did in number 2. So I'm going to write sine theta equals cos theta equals and tan theta equals. All right, let's look at our triangle. Let's name the sides. So opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse. Next to the theta is the adjacent, and then opposite the theta is the opposite. All right, now this time there's no numbers, is there? So we have to use the sides. So this side here will be named according to the two letters at either end of that side. Okay, so sine, if you remember, up here was O over H. So what's on my opposite side? What are the two letters on either side of the opposite side? Hopefully you said TP, so I'm going to put TP on top. Then I have to put it over H, so I'll just put it over here, O over H. This one down here is A over H, and this one down here is O over A, so we don't have to keep going up the top. Okay, so if I look at the H side, what are the two letters at either end? PQ, QP, doesn't matter what order you do it in. So there you go, PQ. Do the same for cos. The adjacent side has a T at one side and a Q at the other. TQ or QT, cutie, you know, yep. And hypotenuse again is PQ. I'm just doing those in alphabetical order if you're wondering why I'm doing that. Tan is opposite over adjacent, so opposite is TP. And adjacent is QT. So on that one, you were just putting the letters in. All right, so now we're going to go back and pretend, but use our calculator. So get your calculator out. I've got my Casio in front of me. Make sure there's a little D for degrees up in the top right corner. If it's an R, that stands for radians. Trigonometry should always be done in degrees, not radians. And if it's a G, that stands for gradient. And it will also give you a different answer to what I'm going to get. So let's have a look. I'm going to do 19. I don't think I have to press the times. So if you're using a normal calculator, and then tan, and then 38, don't worry about the degrees. If your calculator opener brackets, you might want to close it. Press equals. I got 14.8444,269, but it only wants it to one decimal place, so I'll just put 14.8444 for now. So to one decimal place means I keep the 8, but I get rid of the 4s, but don't forget to look at the first number that you get rid of. If it's a 4, do I round up or leave it as it is? Hopefully you said, leave it as it is, miss. Beautiful. Now, if you've got a calculator that you're using that's from your phone, you might have to do 38 and then tan, and then times by 19. Okay? So if you can you find your Casio or your Sharp, or you might need to use that calculator if you downloaded the special one I showed you from the App Store. Scientific. It's got to be a scientific calculator if you're doing it on your iPad. Next one is 57 over cos 31. Now on my Casio, I'm going to use my fraction key. If you've got a Sharp, you might want to just wait a minute and I'll tell you what to do on yours. So if you've got your Casio, press your fraction key, put 57 on the top, put cos 31 on the bottom. Notice it'll open a bracket, so make sure you close it. And then press equals. This is what I get, 66.49810,364, but we only want it to one decimal place. So I've got to get rid of all of these numbers. Notice the first one I get rid of is a 9. So what do I do to the 4? Hopefully you said you rounded up, miss. You would be correct. Now, if you did that on your Sharp and you didn't get 66.498 when you used your fraction key, can you please do 57, fraction key or divided by, open your brackets, and do cos 31, close brackets. So you might need to put brackets around here if you don't get that answer straight away. Okay? All right, try that and see if that works. Round these angles to the nearest degree. Okay, so nearest degree means to the nearest whole number. So that's pretty much all we're doing here with these ones. All right, so 45.36. Look at the 3. We're getting rid of the 3 and the 6. 3 tells me not to round up my 45. So my answer is just 45 degrees. 59.56. So again, I'm getting rid of these ones, but because that's a 5, that means I have to round the 59 up, doesn't it? Which basically means just add 1. So it becomes 60 degrees. All right, now you should have done this on one of your last lessons in week 10 of last term. So just in case, degrees can be out of any number, but this one here stands for minutes, okay? And it works exactly the same way as time. And minutes only go up to 60, just like it does with time. So what's half of 60? Hopefully you told me half of 60 is 30. So the halfway point, or the point where you round up, is if this number here, 42, is above 30. So if we have to round this to the nearest degree, this one here is my degree. So that's the number I'm going to be rounding or not moving, or not changing, I should say. But I have to look at this number and decide, is it above 30? If it is above 30, I add 1 only, same as before, to the 28. So my answer becomes 29. Okay. All right, what about this one? Again, this one says to the nearest degree. Now, this one again is minutes. And just like time, this one is seconds. Okay? And both of those, just like time, are only out of 60. Now, the seconds is over 30, isn't it? So I could add 1 to make this one 14, but then the 14 out of 60, that's not over 30, is it? So to the nearest degree, my number 55 actually does not change. And in fact, I don't think you even look at that one. You only look at that one. So you wouldn't really even do that bit. Okay? So just ignore what I did then. Sorry about that if I confused you. All right, that's your first column. Goodness. Next column, I might have to do the second page in a moment. Use your calculator to find theta round to the nearest degree. All right, so when you're finding an angle, you must press shift. So, pen would be good, miss. Finding an angle, press shift. Now, if you don't have shift, you probably have second function, okay? Second F stands for second function. So on my Casio, I'm going to go shift or second function. You can probably do this on your Sharp as well. Then I'm going to press sign because that says sign there. And then I'm going to put that number in 0.4228, close the brackets if it opens brackets, press equals. Now that gives you your answer to the nearest degree. Now I'm going to show you a special button that will help you with degrees and minutes because we did that towards the end of last term, even though we are only doing this to degrees. On a Casio, it looks like a circle with a couple of apostrophes after it. On your Sharp, it says DMS, standing for degrees, minutes, seconds. So if you press that button, it actually changes your answer from a decimal answer into degrees, minutes, and seconds. Now, in this particular one, you don't need to write it to the nearest second or anything, but it's just handy to know that. If you get a question that says, what's your answer to the nearest minute, then you just press that button and it will show you what it looks like as minutes, okay? Because as a decimal, it's, out of 100 and out of 10, but this one has to change to being out of 60. So make sure you know where that key is. It's very handy. So I get 25 degrees because then it says 0 minutes on my calculator, which means I don't round up the 25 at all. All right, so 11 cos theta equals. So again, press shift or second function, then cos. You should get cos -1. Now either using your fraction key or your divided by, do 3 divided by 8, or do 3 over 8 if you want to use your fraction key. So I'm going to press my fraction key, put a 3 on top, arrow downwards, put an 8 on the bottom, arrow across, close my brackets, press equals. I get 67.975. If I press the DMS key, or the bubbles key as I like to call it, in apostrophes, I get 67 degrees 58 minutes. Because that 58 is over 30, I need to round up my 67, don't I? And hopefully you got 68. Next one, question 12. Tan theta equals 11 over 5. Okay, press shift or second function, and then tan, and then doing either 11 divided by 5 or 11 over 5 using your fraction key. Press equals. I get 65.55. Now I can round straight from there. I don't need to press the DMS or the apostrophe key. Because it's a 5, 65.5, I know that means I must round up my 65 to 66. Okay, and next one, tan theta equals 5.4. Press shift or second function, and then tan, 5.4, close the brackets if they're open, press equals, and I get 79.5. Again, because it's a 0.5, I have to round up the 79 to 80. So that one's 80 degrees. Next one, question 14. Would you use sine, cos, or tan to find these angles? Colour in the circle to indicate your choice. Right, so you're just telling me whether it's sine, cos, or tan. So the way that I do this is I have to label the sides. Okay? Remember, first side, easiest to label, hypotenuse. So across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. I'm going to do that over here too. Across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. Now label the other two sides. Right next to the theta angle is the adjacent. Right next to the theta angle is the adjacent. And then the third side that's left is opposite. So what you have to do is figure out where are the numbers and what sides are they on. So here, for example, I got a highlighter. I've got a 25 on the A, and I've got a 41 on the H. So I've got A and H. So go back over here. Which one uses A and H? Is it sine, cos, or tan? Hopefully you said it's cos, miss. All right, next one. All right, this one here. So I have a number on the O, and I have a number on the 22. That's O and A. If I go back over here, O and A means tan. So let's have a look. There we go. Tan is my answer. Okay. All right. Next one. Question 16 says, find the angle round to the nearest degree. All right. So we're going to do all this from way to go. All right. So first of all, I need to label my sides. So let's do the easiest one. Easiest one. Hypotenuse is there, across from the right angle. Next to the theta is A, and then the last one would be my O. What do I have? I've got O, and I've got H. So O and H over here. O and H is sin, isn't it? Yes, it is. All right, so over here, I'm going to write the formula first. Sin theta equals O over H. So that's what I'm going to write. Sin theta equals, what's my O? 22. What's my H? 43. So I write 22 over 43. Now your next step is to do exactly what you did up here. So we're going to do shift or second function, sine, and then 22 over 43. So we're going to get our calculator to do the work. So shift or second function, sine, 22, fraction key or divided by, it's up to you, 43. If you got an open brackets, can you close it please? Press equals. I got 30.77. So theta equals 30.77. All right, and it says to the nearest degree. So what's that to the nearest degree? 30.7. 7 means I round up, doesn't it? So 31 degrees is my answer. All right, try this one. Have a go on your own if you want. Label the sides first. You can pause the video if you want to have a go on your own. So here, opposite the right angle first, that's my H. Now I'm only going to label the ones where I've actually got a number. Next to the theta, that's my A. So this time it's A and H. So if I go back over here, A and H is cos. I'm going to write that out. Here we go. So cos theta equals A over H. All right, so let's see. That means A is 137 and H is 181. So let's write that in. Cos theta equals, and I've forgotten that already, 137 over 181. Right, beautiful. Put that into our calculator. Shift or second function cos 137 divided by, or fraction key, 181, close your brackets, equals, I get 40.807. Now again, it's to one decimal place, so the 8 is telling me to round up to 41. Pardon me. All right, question 18. All right, let's label the sides first. So here's my right angle. So there's my hypotenuse. There's nothing on that, is there? So I actually don't need that one. So go from the theta, which is the one next to the theta. That's my adjacent. And then the last one left, that's my opposite. So I'm using O and A this time. O and A is tan. Okay, so let's do it. Write that out. Tan theta equals O over A. I always write my formula out first because the more I write it out, hopefully the more I remember it. So that's 38. Oh, I just noticed something. Oh, good, it's not on that one. All right, this one says 38 centimetres and they're 1.4 metres. What do we know if the units aren't the same? Hopefully you all said, make them the same. All right, so it's definitely 38 centimetres on top. All right, but this one, I have to change that to centimetres, don't I? There's 100 centimetres in a metre, so I do that by timesing by 100. So 1.4 times by 100 on my calculator gives me 140 centimetres. So I'm going to put that in over here. 140. Beautiful. All right, so let's do it. Shift 10, 38, fraction key or divided by 140, arrow across, close brackets, gives me 15.18, which also then gives me to 1 decimal place, was it? I can't bloody remember now. Oops. Nearest degree, that's it. 15.18 becomes 15 degrees because that's a 1 and we don't round the 1 up. All right, now I'm going to stop this video, otherwise it'll take forever to upload. So please watch the next video for the second page. So scroll up, there is another page underneath this one. See you soon, bye.